welcome to October's Mixed Media Menagerie. This month we are playing with the colors green, purple, black, and orange. We're using a palette knife, glitter, and some crackle paste, and the theme is magical. And Erin was the person who dropped off the ephemera, so this is all the cool stuff that she dropped off that goes with the theme. So I started this page off like I always do by spreading some paper around on my background. I'm using this palette knife that I hadn't used in a while, and apparently it had some like black schmutz on it, so it kind of got spread around everywhere when I dragged it through the glue. But that's okay, because you'll see why. So I'm adding the tissue paper on the bottom to add some texture. This paper is already pretty textured, but I just wanted to use the tissue paper and also just add a little more. So I'm going to do that, and then also add just a couple little pieces of book paper. So the theme for the month is magical, and I didn't want to do something that was like outright Halloween-y, so I decided to go with a moon as my focal point. So I used the Dina Wakley circle stencil to kind of outline my moon, and then I am taking some golden black gesso and I'm going around the whole page aside from the moon, and making the whole page black. This is why it didn't really matter that I had black stuff on my palette knife, because I knew I was going to do this. But then, like, that black gesso was super good at covering stuff, and it covered everything a little too much. So now I'm taking a baby wipe and I'm trying to wipe it all off. My baby wipes are pretty dry because they get dried up really faster than I can use them. So I started spraying water and then just scrubbing with a bunch of baby wipes to try to kind of dial back the black. So now I'm going to take the crackle paste to make my moon. I'm going to tell you a secret. I got out my crackle paste and it was completely dried up. So thankfully I had this DecoArt crackle paint that I found on my shelf. It too is also very dry, which is why it's spreading around like a paste, because it essentially is. So I let that dry, and now I am coming in with this stencil from Stencil Girl, and I'll have all of the names of the supplies listed in the description. but this stencil reminded me of like runes. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be, but so I felt like it was kind of in keeping with the theme of magic. So I'm taking my 3 colors, the purple, orange, and green, and these are all Dina Wakley paints. So we've got blackberry, tangerine, and evergreen, and I'm just stenciling them in random places around the background. So I wanted to kind of tone the white down a little bit from the crackle paint, and I took this kind of off-white fluid acrylic and I watered it down to give it, you know, a little more like, and so it wasn't just like a stark white, because the moon's not, you know, white really. So in seeing that we are outside, you know, looking at the moon, I wanted to add some like botanicals at the bottom, some, you know, maybe look like grasses or weeds or something, so it gives you that feeling that you're outside looking up at the moon. So I'm taking the crackle paste paint and I'm mixing in some violet Liquitex acrylic ink. I didn't mix it all the way because I didn't want it to just be one color. I wanted it to be maybe a little marbly. I kind of had hoped it would be a little darker. You know, it ends up kind of lilac-y, which is fine. I think it ultimately turns out well. So as I was looking at the moon, I felt like it just looked a little too plain, so I decided to kind of make it a harvest moon. So I am taking cheddar and Sedona Dina Wakley paints and kind of watering them down and mixing them together. Then I also have some Deco Art Americana Premium Payne's Gray to kind of add a little shadow into the moon, because, you know, when you look at the moon, it's kind of holy and it has some shadows and stuff, so I kind of wanted to give it that kind of effect. Now I'm taking some thick matte medium and I'm spreading that around the top, and I'm adding the gauze that Erin included in the ephemera pack, and so I'm going to add it around the top and the bottom and kind of hanging down the sides a little bit. So I found this quote that tied in perfectly with the theme of magic and then my choice to do the moon. It says the moon is magic for the soul. So I'm taking the stickers that Erin included, and there's a lot of letters. Like, these stickers are awesome. I don't think I'll ever run out. And I'm putting it on a scrap piece of like ledger paper to make my sentiment. And I like to choose random letters. I don't like them to always be the same size, you know, the correct capitalization, etc. So now I'm adding more gauze because this is where I want to put my sentiment. So I'm adding more gauze, and then I'm gonna add the phrase, and I'm including the glittery purple paper because it is just so sparkly, and you know, makes the purple kind of pop out of the background because you kind of lose the purple. I mean, you have the flowers down below, but you kind of lose like the background purple since it doesn't really stick out against the black. So I feel like this purple glitter paper is just fantastic. So I have these flying bird stamps from 100 Proof Press, and I wanted the birds, there to be something flying in front of the moon, whether it was like birds or bats or something like that. So I'm going to use this bird stamp to show like something, those flocks of birds flying in front of the moon. You'll notice that the stamp is just like rubber. You have the option with 100 Proof Press to buy just the rubber and not with like the foam backing or a block or anything, which is really cool because then you can buy more stamps, which is what I like to do, because it's cheaper to just buy the rubber. You could also, I'm pretty sure you can also buy plates of rubber, which is really cool. So now I wanted to add some glitter and glitz to my page. So at first I took this glitter glue that Erin gave us, and I just wanted to do it on the botanicals at the bottom, but then as I was doing that, I kind of got carried away and then started putting it on the actual page, and I don't regret that decision. I think it looks cool and sparkly. And of course, it can't be a journal page from me without adding some splatters of white gloss spray. And then this is the end result. I kind of wanted to give you like a video close-up so you could see the sparkles, you could see the crackles from the moon and the botanicals down there, and just really see like all the details. But that is it for my project. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful, magical month of October. Thank you for watching.